If you're over 60, please listen closely to what I'm about to tell you, because it goes completely against everything you've been told about memory loss. Most people think their forgetfulness comes from age, lack of vitamins, or normal slowing. But the truth is much more surprising and much more urgent. Your memory may be getting weaker because of something that happens in the first 2 minutes of your morning. Something so simple, so small, so ordinary that almost nobody pays attention to it. And yet, this tiny mistake silently slows down your brain, weakens your focus, and makes your mind feel foggy or empty even before breakfast. Today, I'm going to show you how to reverse this in just 2 minutes, using a drink you can make at home with ingredients you already have. It's fast, it's safe, and it's shockingly effective. But for it to work, you need to understand why your brain reacts so strongly to what you give it first thing in the morning. And I promise I will explain everything in the simplest, clearest way, without complicated medical terms. Before I continue, let me introduce myself properly, because I want you to know exactly who is talking to you. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Collins, and I've spent more than 25 years working exclusively with seniors, studying memory, dementia, and the aging brain. Every day, I treat patients who feel scared because they suddenly can't remember names, misplace objects, or forget what they were about to say. And I've seen, thousands of times, how memory can improve when you give the brain the right stimulus at the right time. Not pills, not expensive supplements, not complicated routines. Simple things. Things you can do at home. Things that truly work. And if you stay with me, I will show you exactly what to do starting tomorrow morning. Let me tell you a quick story, because I know many people feel embarrassed when their mind starts to slow down. A few weeks ago, one of my patients, Mr. Sanders, 74 years old, sat in front of me with a trembling voice. He said, "Doctor, I'm scared something is wrong. I wake up and my brain just doesn't start." He thought he was becoming dependent on others. But the truth was not what he feared. He was simply making one of the 3 morning mistakes that I'll reveal later in this video. I taught him the drink I'm about to share with you, and 2 days later he returned with a smile I hadn't seen in years. He told me, "Dr. Collins, my mind woke up today. I remembered everything I needed. Not because of a medication, not because of a miracle, because of a 2-minute morning brain stimulant made with ingredients he already had at home. Now I want you to understand something very important. After the age of 60, the brain isn't failing. It's not broken. It's not destined to fade. What actually happens is that the brain becomes more sensitive to the first thing you give it in the morning. That first input decides whether your neurons will work fast or slow, whether your memory will stay sharp or feel confused, whether you'll spend your morning clear or mentally foggy. And this is where almost every senior makes the same damaging mistake. Some drink the wrong thing. Some skip drinking anything at all. Some wait too long to hydrate their brain. And some, without knowing, give their neurons the exact opposite of what they need at the moment they need it most. That's why so many seniors wake up feeling blank, heavy, sluggish, or disconnected. They think it's age, but it's not age. It's timing. The drink I'm going to teach you works because your brain is thirsty for 2 things immediately after waking: hydration and gentle natural glucose. This glucose doesn't come from sugar. It comes from fruits like apple and lemon, which contain natural molecules your neurons use as clean fuel. When mixed with oats and water, these ingredients create the perfect morning activation for your brain. Water rehydrates your neurons. Lemon stimulates your brainstem. Apple provides a quick but stable form of energy, and oats help your brain absorb that energy gradually, so your memory stays sharp throughout the morning. Imagine your brain as a car that sat all night in the cold. You can't just hit the gas. You need to warm the engine. This drink warms your brain's engine. And don't worry about complicated recipes. You probably have everything at home right now: a piece of apple, half a lemon, a spoon of oats, and water. That's it. Simple ingredients that activate circulation, increase oxygen to the brain, and help protect your memory over time. Most people think they need exotic berries, supplements, or expensive vitamins. But no. The most powerful morning brain stimulant is made with things you already know, used in a very specific way, the right way. In a moment, I'll reveal the second best morning solution for your brain. It's strong, but not as strong as the drink I'll teach later. And trust me, almost nobody over 60 has ever heard about this. Stay with me. I will guide you gently and clearly, just like I do with all my patients. Before I reveal the full recipe of the morning drink that activates your memory in just 2 minutes, I want to share something almost nobody over 60 knows. Yet it can transform the way your brain functions throughout the entire day. It's the second best morning stimulant for your memory. Not as powerful as the drink we'll get to soon, but still remarkably effective. And it's incredibly simple. You don't need to buy anything new, change your diet, or make drastic adjustments. You only need to introduce one tiny action that your brain has been craving for years. And when you do it, something fascinating happens. Within seconds, your brain starts producing a molecule responsible for focus, clarity, and mental speed. Most people lose this molecule with age, but the truth is that it doesn't disappear. It just needs the right trigger to wake up again. This trigger is a slow, deliberate breathing pattern done right after waking. Not meditation, not yoga, not anything complicated. I'm talking about 1 minute of intentional oxygen activation. Let me explain in the simplest way. When we age, the circulation to the frontal part of the brain, the area responsible for memory and decision-making, naturally becomes sluggish in the early morning. Overnight, your breathing slows, your oxygen drops, and your brain enters a kind of energy-saving mode. Most people over 60 get out of bed with their brain still half asleep. But when you take slow, deep breaths for 1 minute, something amazing happens. You push a wave of oxygen straight into the regions that control memory, language, and mental clarity. This oxygen is like a key that unlocks the circuits that were inactive during the night. It's almost like turning on a light switch in a room that looked dark a few seconds ago. You might think, "Doctor, can something this simple really make a difference?" Yes, it absolutely can. I've seen this happen countless times in my patients. Let me tell you about Mrs. Thompson, 68 years old, who came to me saying her mind felt foggy until lunchtime every day. She felt scared, thinking it was the beginning of dementia. I asked her to try this simple breathing routine every morning before even standing up. 3 days later, she called me, whispering in disbelief, "Dr. Collins, I didn't forget a single thing today." What changed? Not her diet, not her medications, not her sleep, only her oxygen flow. When your brain gets oxygen the right way, its cells fire more efficiently, your memory retains information longer, and your focus sharpens in minutes. Here's what happens inside your brain when you breathe deeply upon waking. Your blood vessels expand gently, increasing circulation. Your neurons receive more oxygen, allowing them to communicate faster. A neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, essential for memory formation, begins to rise. And your brain's alert system, located in the brainstem, wakes up quicker. All of this happens with something as simple as breathing. I always tell my patients, your brain is alive and it needs fuel. Oxygen is the first fuel. Natural glucose is the second. And that's why the breathing routine is only the second best morning stimulant. Because oxygen wakes up the circuits, but it doesn't feed them. The drink I will teach you later does both at the same time, which is why its effect is so much stronger. But don't underestimate the power of this simple action. Some of my patients feel mental clarity within 30 seconds. Others notice that their memory feels more awake, like their brain finally snaps into place. And for many seniors, this breathing routine becomes the small difference that stops them from feeling mentally lost in the morning. And remember, there is no medication that can replace oxygen. No pill can do what your own lungs can do in 60 seconds. That's why this is the second best natural morning stimulant for your brain. And I want you to understand this clearly, because it plays directly into what I'll show you next. The main morning drink works even better when your brain has already received a small push from oxygen. It's like preparing the soil before planting a seed. Your brain absorbs nutrients faster. Your memory becomes sharper. Your focus becomes stronger. And the effect lasts longer throughout the day. Many of my patients say they feel lighter, faster, or more connected. And that's exactly what I want for you. Now that you know this second best morning tool, we're ready to move into the most important part, the drink that restores mental clarity, protects your memory, and helps prevent the early stages of cognitive decline. It's simple, it's natural, and it doesn't require anything expensive. But how you prepare it matters. The order of the ingredients matters. And the timing matters too. I'll explain everything gently and clearly, step by step, the way I would explain it to any of my patients sitting in my office. Stay with me, because now we're entering the part that truly makes a difference in your memory. Now that your mind understands why the very first minutes of your morning decide the quality of your memory for the entire day, we can finally talk about the most important part of this video. This is the moment dozens of my patients describe as the turning point of their mental clarity. And I want you to pay close attention because this is not just a recipe. It is a sequence that works because each part supports the next. When you do it correctly, the effect on your brain can be surprisingly fast, sometimes within minutes. What I'm about to share with you is the morning drink I've carefully refined after treating thousands of seniors struggling with forgetfulness, confusion, slow thinking, and early cognitive decline. It's simple enough to prepare in 2 minutes, but powerful enough to change the way your brain functions today and in the long run. And the best part is that the ingredients are ordinary things you already have. People often think they need exotic berries, imported supplements, or expensive powders to wake up the brain. But no. The strongest morning stimulant for memory is built from everyday foods used in a very precise way. Let's begin with the ingredient that activates your brain the fastest: lemon. Most people have no idea how deeply lemon affects the aging brain. When you drink lemon water first thing in the morning, your body releases a wave of natural stimulants that gently activate the brainstem, the area responsible for alertness. Lemon's natural acids signal your nervous system that it's time to wake up. This small signal increases the flow of blood to your brain and helps your neurons begin firing more quickly. That alone already gives many people a feeling of lightness and clarity. But lemon is only the first step. The second ingredient is apple, and this is where the real magic begins. Apples contain natural molecules called polyphenols that help protect your neurons from the microscopic damage that slowly affects your memory with age. These polyphenols act like a shield, protecting your brain while giving it a gentle dose of natural glucose, the cleanest fuel your neurons can use. This glucose doesn't spike your blood sugar and doesn't create confusion or fatigue. Instead, it provides steady, stable energy for your brain cells to function smoothly. Many of my patients tell me that adding even a small amount of apple to their mornings makes them feel more mentally awake, more present, and more confident. The third ingredient is the one most seniors overlook, yet it may be the most important. Oats. Just a spoon. Nothing more. When oats enter your stomach, they form a soft, natural gel that slows down the absorption of glucose, creating a long-lasting flow of energy to your brain. It's like giving your memory a steady hand to hold throughout the morning. The soluble fiber in oats also helps stabilize your blood sugar, preventing the sudden drops that so often cause foggy thinking or forgetfulness. And there's something else oats do. They help increase the production of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that keeps your mood stable. And when your mood is calmer, your memory works better, your focus increases, and your thoughts become clearer. And then we have water, the final and essential ingredient. Overnight, your brain loses hydration, even if you don't feel thirsty. When your brain is dehydrated, it shrinks slightly inside your skull. This can make your thinking slow, your memory weak, and your concentration unstable. The simple act of giving your brain water first thing in the morning refills its cells, allowing them to communicate at full speed. Hydrated neurons send signals faster. They remember better. They process information more efficiently. I always tell my patients, your brain is like a plant. It doesn't grow under sunlight alone. It needs water to stay alive. When these four ingredients come together, lemon, apple, oats, and water, something remarkable happens. You create a perfect balance of hydration, natural energy, antioxidants, and brain activation. The drink becomes a type of morning ignition switch that turns on multiple regions of your brain at the same time. Your memory centers in the hippocampus become more active. Your frontal lobe, responsible for clarity and decision-making, becomes sharper. And your brain's long-term protection improves because the antioxidants from the fruit and the soluble fiber from the oats help reduce the slow, silent inflammation that accelerates memory loss with age. I've sat across from countless seniors who believed their memory was fading forever. They felt scared, frustrated, even embarrassed. But once they added this drink to their morning, consistently, they began to feel something they hadn't felt in a long time: control. A sense of mental strength returning, a feeling of, I can trust my mind again. And nothing is more powerful than that. You deserve that same feeling. You deserve to wake up every morning with a brain that responds, remembers, and supports you. In a moment, I will teach you how to prepare this drink properly so that you get the full effect, not a weaker version of it. And right after that, I will reveal the 3 dangerous morning mistakes that silently sabotage your memory. These mistakes affect almost everyone over 60, and fixing them may be the missing piece you've been looking for. Before we move into the final step of preparing your morning brain-activating drink, I need to warn you about something that may shock you. Because even the most powerful morning routine can lose its effect if you are unknowingly committing one of the 3 morning mistakes that silently damage the memory of millions of seniors every single day. These mistakes look harmless, they feel normal, and they've been part of people's routine for decades. But inside the brain, they create a chain reaction that slows down your thinking, weakens your recall, and accelerates the small cognitive lapses that become more frequent after 60. Once you remove these enemies from your morning, your brain finally gets the chance to function the way it was meant to, and that's exactly what I want for you. The first mistake is drinking strong coffee on an empty stomach. I know this may sound surprising, or even uncomfortable, because many people over 60 have been starting their day with coffee for decades. I'm not asking you to give up coffee. What I want you to understand is what happens inside your aging brain when coffee is the very first thing you give it. Strong coffee, especially early in the morning, releases a sudden surge of adrenaline. This adrenaline makes your heart beat faster, raises your cortisol levels, and forces your brain to enter a state of artificial alertness. It's like using a hammer to wake up a sleeping child. It works, but it shocks the system. And when your brain is shocked, your neurons tighten instead of opening up for memory. As a result, your short-term memory becomes unstable, and you feel mentally jumpy instead of clear. Later, when the caffeine wears off, your brain crashes, causing the morning fog that so many seniors believe is just aging. It's not aging, it's chemistry. The solution is simple. Drink your morning stimulant, the one we prepared, before coffee. Once your brain has fuel and hydration, coffee becomes harmless and even beneficial. It's the timing that matters. The second dangerous morning mistake is skipping breakfast entirely or waiting too long to eat. Many seniors tell me they don't feel hungry in the morning, or they believe that eating later is healthier. But for the aging brain, long periods without food in the morning create a silent emergency. When your brain doesn't receive any glucose after waking, your body begins breaking down stored energy in a harsh, unregulated way. This process releases substances that make your neurons less efficient and more irritated. This is why people who skip breakfast often feel irritable, forgetful, or mentally slow before noon. Inside the brain, the hippocampus, the region responsible for memory, becomes less active. Connections fire more slowly. Words take longer to come out. Small mistakes happen more often. This isn't dementia. This isn't decline. This is your brain begging for energy that never came. The fix? You don't need a large breakfast. You just need something small, stable, and gentle. Exactly like the morning drink I'm teaching you. It gives your brain what it needs without overwhelming your digestion. Once your neurons receive that first wave of natural fuel, your memory stabilizes and your focus improves. You stop drifting. You start thinking clearly. The third mistake might be the most unexpected: checking your phone immediately after waking. This is a habit people rarely talk about, yet it's one of the most harmful routines for anyone over 60. When you wake up, your brain is in a delicate transition state. It is soft, receptive, and sensitive. Your memory centers are stretching like muscles that need a moment to warm up. But when you check your phone immediately, reading messages, scrolling news, or opening social media, you overload your brain's circuits before they are ready. It's like shining a bright flashlight into your eyes the moment you open them. The hippocampus becomes overwhelmed, and your attention becomes scattered before the day even begins. I've seen seniors completely convinced that their memory was deteriorating, when in reality their brain was simply exhausted from early digital overload. The solution is simple. Let your brain wake up gently. Give it oxygen. Give it hydration. Give it the morning drink. Only then, once your memory circuits are stable and alert, you can check your phone without harming your mental clarity. The difference this small change makes is astonishing and immediate. These 3 morning mistakes may seem small, but inside the aging brain, they create real, measurable consequences. They disturb your neurotransmitters, disrupt your focus, and weaken the very structure that keeps your memories intact. Removing them opens a door to clearer thinking, stronger memory, and smoother cognition. Every time I guide a patient to eliminate these habits, something almost magical happens. Their brain wakes up. They begin remembering details again. They find words faster. They feel more confident, more present, more alive. Now that you know the enemies that steal your mental clarity, we're finally ready to complete the final step: preparing the precise formula of the morning drink so you can feel its full effect. I'll show you exactly how to combine the ingredients, the timing, the order, and how to make it part of your routine with total ease. This is the part where everything comes together. Now that you understand why your brain depends so deeply on what you do in the first minutes of the morning, it's time to reveal the complete, precise way to prepare the drink that can transform your memory. You've already learned why each ingredient matters, but what many people don't realize is that the order in which you combine them changes everything. When you prepare this drink correctly, your brain absorbs the nutrients faster, your neurons fire more efficiently, and the protective effects last longer throughout the day. The goal here is not just to wake up your mind for a few minutes, it's to create a stable, steady clarity that carries you through the entire morning and beyond. Start with water, because water is what sets the stage for everything else. Cold water slows your digestion and weakens the drink's effect, while water that is too hot destroys the natural molecules that your brain needs. What you want is room temperature water, gentle, neutral, and ready to hydrate your neurons instantly. Pour it first, because the water becomes the foundation that helps the lemon distribute its natural acids evenly and allows the oats to release their soluble fiber gradually. Many of my patients used to mix all the ingredients at once, shaking them together quickly, but once they switched to adding them in the right order, they began feeling results far more consistently. This is how delicate the aging brain can be, and how responsive it becomes when treated properly. Once the water is in the cup, add the lemon. Squeeze half a lemon, letting the juice blend naturally with the water. Stir it gently. This step releases citric acid into the water, which acts like a soft alarm clock for your nervous system. It wakes up the vagus nerve, stimulates your alertness, and prepares your brain to receive nutrients. If you squeeze the lemon on top of the apple or the oats, the effect becomes weaker because the nutrients bind to the fiber too quickly, reducing their bioavailability. When the lemon goes directly into the water, your body absorbs the activation signal almost instantly. Next, add the apple. A few small slices are enough. You don't need much. The goal here is to provide gentle, natural glucose. Not a spike, not a rush. The apple's polyphenols dissolve into the water within seconds, acting as a shield against the microinflammations that slowly damage memory over the years. I always tell my patients that these small slices of apple are like giving your neurons a clean, pure breath of energy. You'll notice that the drink begins to look slightly cloudy. That's a good sign. It means the apple is releasing its antioxidants into the water. Finally, add 1 spoon of oats. Not more, not less. Too little, and your brain doesn't get the stable fuel it needs. Too much, and the drink becomes heavy and difficult to absorb. 1 spoon creates exactly the right amount of soluble fiber to slow down the release of glucose so that your memory has support for hours. The oats will float at first, then gradually soften as the lemon water hydrates them. When you take your first sip, you may feel the drink is simple, almost too simple. But inside your body, something extraordinary is happening. The hydration reaches your neurons within minutes. The lemon activates your brainstem. The apple begins fueling your cells. And the oats stabilize everything so your brain stays sharp and clear. Drink it slowly. Don't rush. Allow your brain to absorb each part. Many of my patients tell me they feel a sense of calm energy rising through their mind as they finish the last sip. Some feel their thoughts becoming quicker. Others feel a lightness behind the eyes, as if the mental fog is lifting. And almost all of them say the same sentence. Doctor, it feels like my brain finally woke up. I want you to remember something important as you make this drink part of your routine. Your brain is still capable of incredible things, no matter your age. I have treated seniors in their 70s, 80s, and 90s who believed they were losing themselves, who believed their memory was fading permanently. And yet, once they gave their brain the right support, they improved in ways they never thought possible. Your brain wants to work for you. It wants to remember, to focus, to stay clear. It simply needs the right conditions to do so. And you now have one of the most powerful morning tools for that. But I don't want this journey to end here. I want to continue guiding you. I want you to feel supported, understood, and accompanied, just like all my patients in my office. So let me ask you something simple, but important. Which of the morning mistakes we talked about today were part of your routine? Which one do you think affected your memory the most? Tell me in the comments. I truly want to know. And if you want me to teach you, in our next video, another technique that strengthens the aging brain, a technique that helps prevent memory decline and supports long-term cognitive protection, just let me know. I'll be here, with the same care, the same clarity, and the same dedication, ready to guide you step by step. Thank you for being with me today. And remember, your mind is still yours, and with the right habits, it can stay sharp for many, many years.